Welcome to the Invite Health podcast, where our degreed healthcare professionals are excited to offer you the most important health and wellness information you need to make informed choices about your health. You can learn more about the products discussed in each of these episodes and all that Invite Health has to offer at www.invitehealth.com/podcast. First-time customers can use promo code podcast at checkout for an additional 15% off your first purchase. Let's get started.
Shoulder injuries are common, so let's discuss what to do. Now, our shoulder is very complex. It includes cartilage, ligaments, 3 different bones, and a combination of muscles and tendons. The muscles and tendons work together. They're known as the rotator cuff. So the rotator cuff, with its collection of muscles and tendons, surrounds the shoulder, giving support so you can have a wide range of motion. So you can move your shoulder over your head and in all different directions. This way you could pick things up and play sports and do whatever you have to do. Now, the tendons themselves are tough bands of connective tissue, mostly made out of collagen, that connects muscle to its bone. Ligaments are tough bands of tissue around your joints. They connect bone to bone. They give you joint support and they limit movement so that it's normal, so you don't twist things. There's also 6 little fluid-filled sacs in the rotator cuff of the shoulder. They're called bursa. Bursa sacs cushion the tendons of the rotator cuff so they don't rub against your bone, and when they get inflamed, it's very painful. It's called bursitis. Our first injury is fairly common as far as shoulder injuries are concerned, and it's quite painful. It's a tear of the shoulder labrum. The labrum is a piece of soft cartilage in the joint in your shoulder bone. It connects the arm joint to the shoulder joint. Now, getting back to the rotator cuff, the group of 4 muscles that are called a rotator cuff, they help the labrum keep the ball of the arm in the shoulder socket. So they keep the joint together. So the labrum maintains the stability of the shoulder during movement. That means the labrum helps the shoulder stay in its proper place. This allows your arm to rotate. It gives you the range of motion. Now, repetitive motions and injuries can tear the labrum, often causing really bad pain. Now, the ligaments which hold the shoulder bones together are also firmly attached to the labrum. So if there's a labral tear, the ligaments of the shoulder may no longer be functioning properly, and so there's instability of the shoulder. It's a common injury. For this, use collagen HX powder. Collagen makes your cartilage, your connective tissues, most of the connective tissues have a high concentration of collagen. The problem is you make less and less collagen with age. So taking a collagen supplement helps to keep these tissues stable and healthy. It also helps heal them if they're damaged, if there's micro tears, etc. So using collagen as you grow older may help prevent future injuries. It really is important for stabilizing these tissues. Now, because the shoulder is complex and used so often, many people at some point in their life experience shoulder problems. I did. I lifted weights. I played a lot of sports like racket sports, played football, basketball, you name it. This was all brought to a head by a pretty violent kayaking accident where my shoulder smacked into a sharp-edged boulder. I hurt my knee in the same accident, but more on that in a different episode. I required surgery because there was such a complete tear. And I required ice, rest. It was a long and painful recovery. Anybody who's had shoulder surgery will tell you it takes a lot longer to heal and get back to normal than the orthopedist is going to tell you. Now, just a tip. For any orthopedic surgery, rest the tissue for the first 3 days after the surgery, because this is when all the fluids can build up and you could get the swelling, and that's what causes the lion's share of the pain after surgery. So if you rest the tissue and you use ice, and I'll give you a tip on using ice in just a second, that'll help keep down the swelling. That'll help prevent most of the pain involved with orthopedic surgery. Now, what about ice? Ice is great for swelling and inflammation and an injury, but never use ice more than 22 minutes because then it becomes negative. And don't use ice before physical performance. use it after. You want to improve circulation before doing something physical like physical therapy. You want to use ice after to reduce the swelling and inflammation and the buildup of fluids in the tissue. Most shoulder injuries, by the way, can be dealt with by combining physical therapy, icing, rest. Physical therapy is so important for an injury. First of all, the exercise strengthen the muscles supporting your shoulder. But also you learn what exercises to continue after the fact once physical therapy is over. Sometimes surgery is required, like for my shoulder injury, it was so severe, so complete, I couldn't join the tissues together without the surgery. So some of the more common shoulder injuries, bursitis. I mentioned those fluid-filled sacs called a bursa. There's 6 of them in each shoulder. These cushion the tendons in each shoulder and the rotator cuff. When they get inflamed, and this can happen if you keep repeating the same motion with your shoulder, like playing tennis or throwing a baseball, or from intense pressure such as lifting heavy weights over your head. With bursitis, it hurts, it's inflammation. Even simple things, everyday things like shaving or getting dressed or combing your hair can really hurt. If you rest the shoulder and you elevate the bursa, you elevate the tissue, you apply ice, it helps a lot, and physical therapy. I've been having great results using a product called Relief HX for this. It's a combination of turmeric, very high in all the curcuminoids, along with frankincense and sesame oil. It's in capsules. The sesame oil has been proven to greatly speed up and improve the absorption of the 2 herbs, and this is great for inflammation, and it's great for shoulder injuries. Take like 2 capsules 2 or 3 times a day with food, and it's really safe because both turmeric and frankincense are very healthy herbs to use. Tendinitis. Tendons are tough tissues, fibrous tissues that connect muscle to bones. As you age, your tendons wear away slowly. They wear down. You develop micro tears in the tendons. This can lead to tendinitis. This takes time to develop. A lot of this has to do with a decline in the production of collagen. Collagen is the major protein that makes your connective tissue. About 30% of your body is made out of collagen. So as you make less collagen, collagen production starts to decline at the age of 25, and it gets less and less collagen every year. It doesn't mean too much until you're like 35 or 40. When the collagen is not being made as readily by your body, what happens, the tendons start to break down because your tendons are about 75% collagen. And you develop these micro tears, so that like repeat activities, like overhead activities like tennis, baseball, and swimming can really put a lot of stress on your tendons and your shoulder, and you develop acute tendinitis. So if you're doing an exercise in the wrong form, or you don't rest in between sufficiently, or you're doing it too often, this can happen. Flex HX powder. This is a specific collagen that's broken down, and they concentrate the peptides that are unique to the tissues of your tendon. So there's the collagen-specific peptides for your tendon, and also dermatan sulfate, which is needed for your tendon. It's a specific type of chondroitin sulfate that's needed to create tendons. This is very good for helping people with tendinitis. It really supports the tissues. It really supports the tissues. In a study from Germany, very interesting study, University of Freiburg, they used this ingredient in the Flex HX powder. They gave them a scoop a day. These people had problems with their Achilles tendon in their ankle, and they were athletes. And over time, it really improved the health of the Achilles tendon. Greater Achilles tendon stability. These people were actually able to get back to their sports. It made a difference. They were recovering much faster than the people on placebo, which is a fake powder. I actually take Flex HX preventatively. I'm older. I'm making less collagen. Flex HX is a type of collagen that's specific for my ligaments and tendons. I like to hike, I like to kayak, I like to play sports, I like to lift weights, and I love to garden. And so I don't want a tendon injury because at my age it takes too long to recover from it. I just don't want it. Now, a tendon tear, need I say more? It can happen slowly over time or suddenly. Like if you turn or twist wrong. Usually in the tendons of your rotator cuff or biceps. It hurts. It keeps you from moving your shoulder easily. Severe tendon tears may require surgery. Once again, we're back to the Flex HX powder. A scoop a day in liquid. Now, arthritis in the shoulder. It's usually osteoarthritis. That's when the cartilage which covers and protects the end of your joints and your bones breaks down. This can lead to pain, swelling, stiffness. It can make it hard to move the joint. It can often start in your 30s or 40s. I mean, basically it's wear and tear, but it gets worse over time. Try a supplement called hyaluronic acid with devil's claw. Hyaluronic acid is involved with the synovial fluid of the joint. The synovial fluid is a thin layer of fluid in many joints. And it's important because that hydrates the joint, but that's also where the new baby cartilage cells are born. The cartilage is that slippery, tough coating over the end of your bones in the joint. The new baby cartilage cells are born in that fluid. It's called synovial fluid. And when you move the joint, the fluid washes over the cartilage and deposits new baby cartilage cells. They're called chondrocytes and any micro tears or micro abrasions. And the hyaluronic acid has been shown to stabilize that thin layer of fluid, that little patina of fluid in the joint, but also it's been shown to help mild to moderate joint pain. Now, devil's claw is different. That's been shown to help even severe joint pain, moderate to severe joint pain. And they've shown that devil's claw can help with any kind of arthritis: knee arthritis, hip arthritis, arthritis in the spine, arthritis in the shoulder, arthritis in your thumb and fingers and knuckles. If it's for the knee or hip, usually 1 capsule twice a day with meals. But if it's the back or the neck, the cervical spine, or the shoulder, take 1 capsule 3 times a day with meals. Devil's claw is a shrub that grows in the southern parts of Africa in the Kalahari Desert. The Kalahari Desert covers a wide range of countries, including Botswana and Namibia and South Africa, etc., Angola. And the plant, there's not a lot for the plant to anchor onto. So it grows low so the wind doesn't blow it away, and it has these claws like anchors that it digs into the ground to hold it in place. It turns out it has an ingredient called harpagicide. That's great for arthritis, that's great for stiffness, that's great for arthritic pain and swelling. We've had very good success in people with arthritic shoulders and arthritis of the neck or arthritis of the hip and knee if they use the hyaluronic acid with devil's claw supplement 3 times a day. The devil's claw has been shown to help reduce pain and swelling and inflammation, but it also helps create new cartilage cells in the fluid of the joint called the synovial fluid. So it's a win-win-win situation. In any event, that's what you do for shoulder pain. And thank you so much for listening.